Yes, we are going to continue with the dataset that we used previously on the SP500. Come to example. Come to the example datasets. Then check for the SP500 use. So now I'm having new datasets. Essentially, I will be checking for the decay fuller tests. So I can come to statistics by the menu bar statistics, check for the time series for the Stata 15, and then look at what you call, yes, the tests. Tests, there is augmented decay fuller itself, and field felon. Well, we are going to start with, we are going to use the course data, we are going to use decay fuller and even also field felon. Let me start with the decay fuller. So the decay fuller, I will be having a box. I'll be having the box. And then select a variable that I want to test. Is it high or low? No, it's an open price. It's a series of open price that I want to see whether it's stationary or not. So one option is saying you need to exclude the constant terms in regression. So it will exclude the trend, also the drifts, and then you can also display the regression. Okay, so it means I will not having a trend and even so the intercepts, then submit, but I'll be having a regression. So the Stata will tell me it's an error because I didn't just let Stata to be set by time series. So that's why I'll be need to type TS time series set, then just put the dates variable, then enter. So now I have just called that I'm doing an analysis on data sets, on daily data sets, essentially time series. And then let me repeat to statistics, time series, and then check for the tests, and then look at the augmented behavior. I'll be remaining with all the option using open, and then supplement all the terms. So excluding the terms, constant, and then excluding the trend and even also the intercepts. So by submitting, I'll be having an equation. Yes, I'll be having an equation, and my equation is very good, very good. I will be essentially, you can see the code that I use, and to set the time series, and what you can see is that, so the decay fuller is it's the test putting a variable open, and then there is no constant, but there is a regression being produced. The lag is 0. The lag is 0, and if we are supposed to write our SP500 equation, we can say our xt depends. There is no constant. We don't have any constant because our constant is 0. We have omitted. Our constant is 0. Our constant here is 0 plus our there is no trend, but it's the stroke. There is a stroke of our lag 0.008 40.82 alpha, no x, so the SP500 of yesterday prices plus our error time. So you can see that this row, our row is 0.000082, which is lesser than 1. It is less than 1, but because we are using augmented decay formula, ADF, so the nine hypothesis is saying that our H0 is equal to a delta which is equal to 0, should be equal to 0. H1, the delta will be less than 0 or equal than 0, different from 0. Yeah. So which means that it should be this value is near to 0. That's why we say there is a unit sort of test. But you need to confirm. Let me check for. Let us check for the T statistics. Let me see. This is the decay polar inside the decay polar test one. It's the decay polar, not the augmented. Our information should be changing. It's the decay polar. Is that's the row will be equal to 1, or the row will be less than 1. So now we tend to say it's a stationary, but let us check the T calculated compared to the 5% in absolute. In absolute, it will be that the T calculated, then we compare with the T critical or the DF critical, it will be 8.08 in absolute. With comparing with 9.5, so the critical is that we fail to reject. We are failing to reject. Yeah, we'll be failing to reject, which confirms that our series is suffering from the stationarity. It's suffering from non-stationarity. We fail to reject our nine hypothesis as long as T critical is greater than the calculated in absolute. So this is how you can interpret. Let us remove this one, but also include the rest intercepts. Include the trend and submit. The p-value will be the same. The p-value will be the same. So you look at the p-value. When we look at both p-value but also the T critical, the T calculated and T critical, it will be the same. That we H naught, we fail to reject. Oh, obviously, when we also change again, so by including the drift and then submit, the p-value will decrease, but the conclusion will be the same, that the critical is greater than the calculated. So we still have non-stationary for the state. Okay, let us Let us move to the Eviews one as quick as possible. I still have my SP500. Let me just show you my SP500 so I can check the open price essentially, and then view. For the view menu, I will be checking to the unit root and then remain to the art level and use the decay folder. Augmented decay folder, the shores, I will be check for the archaic information with intercepts and then confirm OK. You can see that my p-value is higher than 5% and then fade to reject. If I continue with by changing to the trend and then see, the p-value will be greater than 5% and then we fail to reject, which means our series is suffering the unit to test. Changing to nuts and then check for the archaic, still the p-value will be greater than 5% and then we fail to reject that the series is stationary, so which means our series is suffering from non-stationarity. We can also just go back to our Stata and then check for the field felon. It's a statistics, comes to time series, then go to the tests and then check for the field felon. Open and then include both all and then submit. So the test for the field felon, you can see it's a field felon. We'll be looking at the p-value. The p-value is higher by 5%. And then, which means that in terms of row, the t calculated is less than, in absolute value, is less than the t critical 5% for both z, but also by row. And because the p-value is higher than 5%, which conclude that we fail to reject. Let's use also the Eviews to see for the field alone. We come at on view, then click to the unit to tests, and then change to the field alone. There is nothing changed, and then OK. So you can see that the p-value for the field alone is higher than 5%, and then we fail to reject. Thank you.